Palestine! Free, free Palestine! From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free! From the sea to the river! Palestine will live forever! Thank you all for coming here. I'm gonna just maybe add to what the MC just picked up on, the shameful and laughable speech that Netanyahu gave in the US Congress, which was just a regurgitation of the lies that the Israeli propaganda has been puking out since the start of October 7th. He regurgitated the lies of beheaded babies, which never really happened, while in the past few weeks we've been seeing one beheaded baby after the other in Gaza, documented on video, on the ground, live, and yet we don't hear any condemnation from the world. All we hear is Netanyahu regurgitating the lies that he is still spewing on mass media. Shame. And he regurgitated more lies, Zionist lies, which are like, you know, he said this more and more in several interviews and past interviews, where he came to a land without a people, for a people without a land, where he made the desert bloom. I guess Netanyahu doesn't know that cameras existed in the 1920s before Israel ever existed. I guess he hasn't looked at any photos of Palestine. He hasn't bothered to listen to any of my Palestinian ancestors who talked about the thriving and prosperous Palestine that my grandmother and my grandfather knew before they were forcibly expelled from their hometown of Haifa in 1948. And one important thing to keep in mind is that this war criminal, this genocider, is speaking from the US Congress. So this is a debate that I've been having with friends of mine, like, who is the dog wagging the tail, or is the tail wagging the dog? So is the US in control of Israel, or is Israel in control of the US? Like, how come can a leader of a foreign country come to the Congress of the most powerful nation on earth and then just spew lies and have people, the whole Congress, minus one or few people who weren't clapping, and our Palestinian American representative Rashida Tlaib holding up a war criminal sign in front of his face. So, setting those exceptions aside, the whole Congress was clapping for him. In a 50-minute speech, they clapped for him 45 times. Like, I haven't seen that in the worst Arab dictatorships in recorded history. Like, I haven't seen so much clapping. So is this really a democracy? Is this somebody who's been invited by the American people? Does this person represent the voice of the American people? I don't think so. Based on the recent polls, like the majority of Americans want to achieve a ceasefire. And they do realize that it is a genocide that is happening in Gaza. But it's not up to the American people. It's up to the military-industrial complex. It's up to the corporations, the corporatocracy that is running the US imperialist system, of which Israel is simply a military base. It's a very large military base. US officials call it the largest aircraft carrier in the Mediterranean. So this is what Israel really is in the eyes of the American hegemony, the neoliberal world order. It is simply a military base where they get to impose their foreign policy on the peoples of the Middle East, on the peoples of North Africa and West Asia. So it's important to when we say something like everything is interconnected, the fight for fighting colonialism on these lands is the same as fighting colonialism in Palestine. These are not just mere words. We're not just being abstract. The same financial institutions here that are building pipelines through indigenous lands, unceded indigenous territories, are the same financial institutions that are funding the genocide in Palestine. The same excavators that run through unceded indigenous territory here. You can find those same excavators pillaging, destroying Palestinian homes. So it's not abstract. These are the same corporations. These are the same financial institutions. And it is very important for us to realize this, number one. And number two, to realize that when we uplift indigenous voices and indigenous rights on these lands, we are undermining colonialism as a whole. And this is what we need to do here, starting here. This is what we need to do here in order to uplift our brothers and sisters in Palestine. So I have two announcements to make before we start the march, or if Mehdi is here. Okay. So I just have two announcements to make before the second speaker comes on. The first announcement is that there will be a film screening of a very good film talking about the Palestinian cause called Where Olive Trees Weep. It's going to be this evening at 7:30 p.m. And if you need to know the location, please come to me and ask so that I can relay the location to you. And the second announcement is that next week is going to be a silent march. So we're going to be perhaps playing some somber music. We're going to be playing some testimonies from humanitarian doctors who have volunteered in Gaza and who have come back with harrowing eyewitness testimonies about children being shot in the head twice. Children, not one or two children, streams of children coming into the hospitals, being shot in the head twice. This is what the Zionist army is doing. They're treating our people like rats. They think that our children are target practice. And this is why the Zionist regime cannot stand. It must fall. And along with it, all this imperialist system that treats indigenous peoples like subhumans. And so, we're going to have this silent march next week on Saturday, same time. We're going to be carrying the photos of the children who have been slain by the Zionist terrorists to honor their memory and to hold up a candle in this moral darkness which we live in here on this continent. It is shameful that a war criminal has come here with all the freedom and all the luxury and spoken in front of a US Congress. But here we are, standing on the right side of history and standing with our morality, with our humanity, and holding up this candle in the face of the darkness. Thank you.